Stanford just published their 2026 AI Index report, and the numbers are alarming. Across 26 frontier AI models, hallucination rates range from 22% to 94%. AI incidents documented in 2025, 362, up 55% year over year. And here's the one nobody's talking about. 86 to 89% of enterprise AI agent pilots are failing to scale. That's not a typo. Almost 9 out of 10 AI projects never reach production. The reason? Most companies don't actually understand the difference between LLMs, RAG, AI agents, and Agentic AI. They pick the wrong architecture, hit a wall, and pivot to something else without ever fixing the actual problem. In the next 14 minutes, I'm going to use one simple metaphor. Your company hiring 4 different people, plus the wiring that connects them, to make every layer crystal clear. With real examples from JPMorgan, EY, Salesforce, Reddit, and Klarna's billion-dollar mistake. Plus the MCP standard that 78% of enterprises now use. Plus a bonus on Karpathy's LLM Wiki concept that broke the AI community in April. By the end of this video, you'll be in the 14% that succeed. Let's go. Imagine you run a company and you need to hire someone for a role. There are 4 different types of people you could hire. Each one has very different capabilities, very different costs, and very different risks. Hire 1, a brilliant freelancer. That's an LLM. Hire 2, a researcher with a librarian. That's RAG. Hire 3, a capable intern who actually does tasks. That's an AI agent. Hire 4, an entire department of specialists. That's Agentic AI. And there's one more critical piece, the wiring that lets all of them communicate with your existing tools. That's MCP, the Model Context Protocol. We'll cover that after the 4 hires. Each hire is more capable than the previous one, but also more complex, more expensive, and more risky. And here's the mistake most companies make. They jump straight to hiring the entire department because it sounds the most impressive. That's why 86% fail. The right approach? Start with the simplest hire that solves your business problem. Let me show you exactly when to hire each one. Hire 1, large language model, the Brilliant Freelancer. Here's the perfect way to think about an LLM. Picture a freelancer who studied obsessively for years, read every book, passed every certification. Then one day, they went completely off the grid. No phone, no email, no internet, no news. When you call them in for a job, they give you an incredibly well-reasoned, articulate answer based on everything they knew before they went dark. That's an LLM. ChatGPT, Claude Sonnet 4.5, Gemini 3 Pro, they're all variations of the same idea. They reason with language. They write, they summarize, they explain, they translate, they brainstorm. But here's the critical limitation. They don't know your company's data. They don't know your policies. They don't know last week's news. And they will sometimes confidently make things up, what we call hallucinations. The Stanford 2026 AI Index measured this carefully. Hallucination rates across 26 frontier models, 22% to 94%. Even at the top, GPT-4o accuracy dropped from 98.2% to 64.4% when users implied false beliefs. That's a 34-point accuracy collapse. So when do you hire the brilliant freelancer? When the task is general knowledge, when it doesn't require your company data, when the cost of being slightly wrong is low. Examples: drafting emails, summarizing meeting notes, writing first drafts, brainstorming campaign ideas, translating documents. Real production examples: Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini in Workspace, Anthropic's Claude for general workplace tasks. Cost profile? This is the cheapest option. You're paying per token, no retrieval layer, no tool infrastructure, minimal overhead. But what if the freelancer needs access to your specific information? That's where Hire 2 comes in. Hire 2, Retrieval Augmented Generation, RAG, the researcher with a librarian. Here's the best mental model. Take that same brilliant freelancer, now put them in a library, and pair them with a librarian whose only job is to fetch the right books before any question gets answered. That's RAG. Before the LLM responds to your question, RAG searches your company's documents, databases, or knowledge base. It pulls the most relevant information. Then it gives that information to the LLM as context. Now the LLM answers based on your data, not just its training. And this is the critical insight most people miss. RAG is where business value actually starts. Pure LLM LLMs are general-purpose tools. RAG transforms them into systems that know your business, your policies, your products, your customer history, your compliance rules. RAG also dramatically reduces hallucinations. Stanford research shows context layers with governed metadata cut hallucination rates by over 40%. Why? Because the model isn't guessing anymore. It's reading from your actual documents and citing sources. Real production examples: IBM Watson Discovery for enterprise search, Glean for internal company knowledge, Notion AI Q&A, HR chatbots that search your employee handbook, customer support bots that pull from your product documentation. When do you hire the researcher with a librarian? When your AI needs to answer questions based on your specific data, your policies, your product docs, recent information that wasn't in the LLM's training. But here's the catch. RAG is only as good as your data. Messy documents in, messy answers out. If your knowledge base is disorganized, outdated, or inconsistent, RAG amplifies those problems. And there's another catch. RAG can find information. RAG can explain information, but RAG cannot do anything. It can tell you, here's how to issue a refund. It can't actually issue the refund. For that, you need to hire 3. Hire 3, AI Agent, the capable intern. This is the biggest leap in your company. Hire 1 and Hire 2 help someone think. AI agents help someone do. Picture an intern with a laptop, access to your CRM, your email, your calendar, and your APIs. You give them a task. They figure out the steps, they execute, they report back. AI agents add action. Here's the technical insight that matters. Agents operate in loops, not single passes. The pattern is observe, think, act. Then observe what happened. Think again, act again, until the goal is complete. Look up the order, check the customer's history, identify the issue, decide on a refund amount, issue the refund, send a confirmation email, update the CRM, all autonomously. Real production examples in 2026, JPMorgan Chase. They have over 450 AI use cases in production. Their agents create investment banking presentations in 30 seconds, work that previously took junior analysts hours. They draft M&A memos, automate trade settlement, detect fraud in real time. Portfolio managers at JPMorgan cut research time by 83%. The bank estimates $1.5 to $2 billion in annual business value from AI programs. Another example, Salesforce Agentforce. Engine, a B2B travel company, built an AI agent called Ava in just 12 days. Ava autonomously resolves 50% of customer service cases. CSAT up, costs down. And EV Passport with the Crescendo platform. 70% of customer inquiries handled entirely by AI. When do you hire the intern? When you have a defined task that needs to be completed end-to-end. Customer support resolution, order processing, invoice automation, calendar management, lead qualification. The challenge? Agents need clear task boundaries and well-defined tools. Errors compound across multi-step processes. If the agent misclassifies something at step 1, it carries that error through every subsequent step. And one intern working alone has limits. What if your workflow needs multiple specialists coordinating? That's Hire 4. Hire 4, Agentic AI, the full department. Agentic AI adds orchestration, multiple AI agents, each with a specialized role, working together across a workflow. One agent finds the issue, another checks the data, a third notifies the team, a fourth drafts the response, and a supervisor agent coordinates them all. This is what most people imagine when they say AI is going to transform enterprise work. And it is. But it's also where most projects fail spectacularly. Real production example, EY, the accounting and consulting giant. Their Canvas platform processes 1.4 trillion lines of audit data annually across 160,000 engagements with 130,000 professionals in over 150 countries. Multiple specialized agents work together. Risk assessment agents, compliance agents, document analysis agents, all coordinated by orchestration infrastructure. Another example, Salesforce's, quote, customer zero deployment at Reddit. According to Salesforce, this resulted in 84% reductions in case resolution times and over $100 million in annual operational savings. JPMorgan again. Their LLM suite is now an orchestration layer, not just a research tool. Multiple agents work together on multi-step tasks, computer use actions, cross-system workflows. When do you hire the full department? When your workflow spans multiple teams, systems, or steps that benefit from specialized coordination. Complex incident response, end-to-end audit processes, multi-stage stage customer journeys, cross-departmental approvals. And here's where it gets dangerous. Agentic AI is the highest reward and the highest risk. More handoffs, more monitoring, more accountability questions. The EU AI Act, enforceable August 2026, classifies multi-agent orchestration in high-impact sectors like finance and healthcare as high risk for a reason. And the question changes at this layer. At the LLM layer, can it respond well? At RAG, can it find the right info? At AI agent, can it act safely? At Agentic AI, can we trust the system as a whole? That's the question leaders need to sit with. But there's one more piece of the puzzle, and it's the layer that connects everything together. Here's the layer most YouTubers skip, but you cannot understand 2026 AI architecture without it. Meet MCP, the Model Context Protocol, the nervous system. If LLM is the Brilliant Freelancer, RAG is the researcher, AI agent is the intern, and Agentic AI is the department, then MCP is the wiring that connects all of them to your tools, your data, and your software. Anthropic released MCP in November 2024 as an open standard. Think of it as the USB-C port for AI. Before MCP, every time you wanted to connect an AI to a new tool, your CRM, your database, your email, your calendar, somebody had to write custom code. New custom code for every connection. Brittle, insecure, expensive to maintain. MCP changed that. It defined a standardized way for any AI agent to connect to any data source or tool. Same protocol, universal language. Here's why you need to know about it right now. In April 2026, MCP went from experimental to industry default. Stat 1. 78% of enterprise AI teams report at least one MCP-backed agent in production as of Q1 2026, up from 31% just 1 year earlier. Stat 2. The public MCP server registry grew from 1,200 servers in Q1 2025 to over 9,400 servers by April 2026. That's 7.8 times growth in a single year. Stat 3. 67% of CTOs surveyed name MCP their default agent integration standard within 12 months. Competing protocols are way behind. Stat 4. Every frontier lab supports MCP natively. Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, plus Cursor, Windsurf, every major IDE, and 92% of new agent frameworks released since 2025. Real example. When I migrated my own automation system from custom OpenAI function calls to MCP, deployment time for new tool integrations dropped from 3 days to 11 minutes. Why does this matter for the 86% that fail? Most failed AI projects in 2024 and 2025 failed because the AI couldn't reliably connect to the tools and data it needed. The hands were paralyzed. MCP solves exactly that. If you're building an AI agent strategy in 2026 and your vendors don't support MCP, that's a red flag. Walk away. The industry has chosen its standard. LLM thinks, RAG fact checks, agents execute. MCP makes sure they can all talk to each other. Let me give you 6 verified success stories with real numbers. 1. JPMorgan Chase, $18 billion annual technology budget. 200,000 plus employees use their LLM suite daily. 360,000 manual hours saved per year. $1.5 to $2 billion in annual business value. They hold the #1 global AI maturity ranking among banks. 2. Salesforce plus Reddit. Customer zero deployment. 84% reduction in case resolution times. Over $100 million in annual operational savings. 3. EY's Canvas platform. 1.4 trillion lines of audit data processed annually. Industrial scale agentic AI. 4. Coupa, the procurement software company. 276% ROI from AI agent implementations across their operations. 5. Siemens and DHL, using agents to analyze sensor data for predictive maintenance. 20% maintenance cost savings. 6. EV Passport with Crescendo. 70% of customer inquiries handled entirely by AI. Human escalations resolved in under 30 seconds. These aren't demos. These aren't pilot projects. These are production systems delivering measurable business value right now. So what's the difference between these 14% and the 86% that fail? 2 things. They started with the right hire for their problem, and they baked governance in from day one. But there's also one famous cautionary tale that every company needs to know. Klarna, the buy now, pay later fintech. In January 2024, Klarna deployed an AI assistant built on OpenAI across 23 markets and 35 languages. The numbers were stunning. In its first month alone, the agent handled 2.3 million customer conversations, doing the equivalent work of 700 full-time employees. Average resolution time dropped from 11 minutes to under 2 minutes. By late 2025, Klarna's AI was reportedly doing the work of 853 employees, saving the company an estimated $60 million. Then May 2025 happened. Klarna's CEO, Sebastian Semiotkowski, admitted publicly that, quote, cost containment had potentially compromised customer experience quality, so they pivoted to a hybrid Uber-type workforce, a flexible pool of human experts who step in when the AI agent hits its trust threshold. Here's the lesson. AI agents can handle enormous volume efficiently, but hybrid models consistently outperform fully automated ones for customer satisfaction. The most successful companies in 2026 aren't replacing humans with AI. They're augmenting humans with AI. Autonomy without ownership is a big risk. Now, why are 86 to 89% of enterprise AI pilots actually failing? 5 reasons, all verified across multiple industry studies. Reason 1. The confidence trap. 47% of executives have acted on hallucinated AI content. The AI sounds confident, looks authoritative, and is wrong. Hallucinations are the visible failure. The confidence trap is the deeper one. Reason 2. Wrong hire for the job. Companies pick the full department when they need a researcher. They build complex multi-agent systems when a well-prompted LLM with RAG would solve the problem. Sledgehammer for a scalpel job. Reason 3. Bad data foundation. 52% of businesses cite data quality as the biggest barrier to AI adoption. RAG and agents both depend on clean, structured, governed data. Most companies don't have it. Reason 4. No governance from day one. Only 23% of enterprises have formal agent identity strategies. Most deploy agents without audit trails, without escalation thresholds, without scope definitions. Then they're surprised when things break. Reason 5. Vendor lock-in panic. 76 to 81% of surveyed enterprises are concerned about proprietary dependencies. Companies pause projects mid-deployment when they realize they're locked into a single vendor's ecosystem. Now, bonus section. This is what's trending right now in April 2026, and you should know about it. On April 2, 2026, Andrej Karpathy, co-founder of OpenAI, former AI director at Tesla, the person who coined the term vibe coding, posted a tweet that went massively viral. He called the concept LLM Wiki. Here's the core insight. Traditional RAG has a hidden flaw. Every time you ask a question, RAG rereads the same documents from scratch, rechunks them, resynthesizes them. The system has no memory of the work it already did. It's like cooking a meal from scratch every time you're hungry. Karpathy's LLM Wiki flips this. Instead of rereading documents on every query, you compile your knowledge first. The LLM reads your sources, synthesizes them into structured wiki pages, and links concepts together over time. Future queries run against the compiled wiki, not the raw source. Build a kitchen, not just cook each meal. Why does this matter? Because knowledge compounds. Every new document doesn't just sit there, it updates the wiki. New connections form, old contradictions get flagged. Reports suggest this approach can be up to 70 times more efficient than traditional RAG for personal knowledge bases. Should you replace RAG with LLM Wiki? Honest answer, they solve different problems. RAG is still better for huge enterprise document stores. LLM Wiki is better for personal or team knowledge that grows over time. This is the cutting edge, and it's where the next wave of AI architecture is heading. Here's the framework that'll save you from joining the 86%. Ask yourself these 5 questions, in order. Question 1. Is this a general task that doesn't need my company data? Yes? Hire the Brilliant Freelancer, an LLM. Stop there. Don't over-engineer. Question 2. Does my AI need to know my specific business information? Yes? Add a librarian. RAG. This is where business value starts. Most companies should live here for the first year. Question 3. Does my AI need to take actions on my behalf? Yes? Hire the Intern, AI agent, but define clear task boundaries. Always include human approval for high-stakes actions. Question 4. Does my workflow need multiple specialists working together? Yes? Build the department, Agentic AI, but only if if you have governance, monitoring, and audit trails ready. Question 5. Are my AI tools using MCP for integrations? From Hire 3 onward, this question matters. If your AI vendors don't support MCP in 2026, that's a red flag. The industry has chosen its standard. 78% of enterprises are already there. And here's the rule that ties it all together. Start with the business problem, then choose the simplest hire that solves it. JPMorgan, EY, Salesforce, they didn't jump to the department on day one. They started with the freelancer, added a librarian, built single interns, then orchestrated the department. Years of progressive deployment, and they kept humans in the loop, especially for high-stakes decisions. Klarna's lesson cost them 853 employees worth of work before they realized they'd over-automated. So here's your 2-minute summary. Save this part. LLM is the Brilliant Freelancer. Hire when you need general thinking. RAG is the researcher with a librarian. Hire when AI needs your company data. AI Agent is the capable intern. Hire when you need actions, not just answers. Agentic AI is the full department. Hire when multiple specialists need to work together. And MCP is the nervous system, the wiring that makes them all talk to your software. By 2026, 78% of enterprise teams are using it. If your vendors don't support MCP, walk away. Plus, keep an eye on Karpathy's LLM Wiki. That's where the cutting edge is heading next. To be in the 14% that succeed, start with the business problem. Choose the simplest hire that solves it. Build clean data foundations first. Bake governance in from day one. Demand MCP support from vendors. And always keep humans in the loop for high-stakes decisions. If this video helped you understand AI architecture once and for all, subscribe to AiMineLab. I cover AI tools, platform shifts, and the trends that actually matter every single week. Drop a comment below. Which hire is your business currently using? The freelancer, the researcher, the intern, or the full department? All my sources, Stanford HAI 2026, AI Index, the JPMorgan numbers, Klarna's story, and Karpathy's gist, are linked in the description below. See you in the next one.